Do, 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 do. Hey, hey, hey. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining, please do subscribe to my channel. Turn on that notification bell so you know whenever I go live. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Bobby. You guys, we're going to talk about something today that I figured I'd just talk about it. Hi, Deb. Hi, Kathy. Hello, Tina. Hi, Robin. You guys, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. We're ever so close to some amazing milestones. Amazing, amazing milestones. I'm just excited. Hi, Adrienne. Hi, Claudia. So I figured we could probably talk about some energetic badassery. You know what I'm saying? Some badassery. I also figured we could talk about chords simply because I get quite a few people that message me asking about chords and chord removals and all kind of other chord type questions. And there's a lot of like really misconstrued information that's going around about chords. I mean, at the risk of sounding like a know-it-all, I kind of know chords. Like I kind of know chords and what they do and the stuff about chords. So chords work like umbilical cords, okay? They hook between one being and another. Just like an umbilical cord, it's not a one-way tube. It's a two-way tube. Whatever you think you can send through it, something can send something back. Okay? I hope I'm making sense. I hope I'm making sense. Just like with a mother and child, she's not just giving the child the nutrients the child needs. She's not just feeding that child. The mother's also taking in all of the toxicity. Okay? As a child grows in utero, they're not yet capable of excreting their own toxic waste. They depend heavily on the mother to do this. Okay. And so that's what chords are intended to do. They've always been a two-lane road. Let's see. Do we only have chords with people we are close with? No. Nope. It's not just with people you're close with. If you're getting energetic work done by other people, for the most part, I'm trying to think if there was anyone else. I can't think of anyone else. I know quite a few energetic practitioners. I can't think of anyone else that does their work like me. I don't use chords. Fuck that. You're not sending shit to me. I'm sorry. I'm a bit of a germaphobe and I don't participate in that. You're not sending me nothing. So with the way chords are, you know, like I said, they're two-lane roads and they allow things in as well as sending things out. When you sit there and you're like, I'm going to send them love, or okay, how are you delivering that love? Are you familiar with non-specific induction? Is that how you're doing it? You've learned the methods of Kokoro? Is that how you're sending love? No, you're courting into them. Okay. So people are like, oh, but I only sent love. I don't understand how I could have gotten this parasite. Well, you sent love, but love is not what they sent back. That's not what they sent back. They sent something else. And they might not even be cognitive of this. They might have latchings that saw an opportunity and took it. Capitalized on that opportunity and sent some icky ickies. I mean, can you blame them? Your energy's delicious. They want to survive. You're a new food source. So, of course, they're going to go ahead and send something. Am I still frozen? Am I still frozen? I hope I'm not still frozen. Oh my gosh. Yeah, people can attach cords out of malice. They absolutely can. I mean, just like they can inadvertently attach cords out of love, they can do it out of malice. There's plenty of opportunity to attach cords if you're not maintaining your field. If you're not keeping track of the health of your auric field, then yeah, there's the potentiality. Absolutely. What's so hard to get rid of? Let me see. Okay. So Robin says, it's been my experience that people will attach cords out of malice. So say you get in an argument with someone on Facebook and you've never physically met, they can tap into your energy and cord. And those are so hard to get rid of. Well, not if you know how to remove cords. Not if you know how to address the root ball. Because if we're still using the analogy of the mother and the child and the umbilical cord, does the cord just enter the mother? You just plug in? No. It's attached to a root ball, which is what the placenta is. It creates the pathways from which to do the feeding, from which to dump all of that toxicity into the mother's bloodstream. It's not just the cord. And a lot of people are like, oh, I offer cord cutting as a service. I take care of cords. Cords are my specialty. Okay, if it's your specialty, you know, there's a root ball, right? You're not going to claim to take the sword of Michael, who never allows anyone to touch his sword. I just tell you this right now. Archangel Michael would keel the fuck over if someone attempted to touch his sword. He will go ape shit. So anyone that's saying, I've cut the cord with the sword of Michael, liar! You're a liar. Michael would never let you touch his sword. Me and Michael, we like this. And he's like, don't you touch my fucking sword. Not even joking. I mean, I've never asked to touch his sword, but that sounds so off. I've never asked to touch his sword, but the moment I look at his sword, because sometimes I do get naughty and I'm just like, I'm going to snatch that shit from you. I know how attached you are. I'm going to snatch it just to piss you off. And he's already looking at me like, don't you even try. So yeah. And cutting that cord is not going to do it for you. The people who are saying that they're going to ask Archangel Michael to cut that cord for you, Michael knows this is not how it works. When you give birth to a child, you just cut the cord. You're not even supposed to cut the cord, to be honest. You're not supposed to cut the cord. The way birth is, the way the cord works, the placenta, you're supposed to allow the mother to give birth to the afterbirth. Allow it to keep pulsing, pumping all of that stem cell back into the child, who is a rightful heir to that healing substance. You allow it to continue pulsing. And then the mother delivers the afterbirth. That's when you clamp it. Okay. But what we've learned to do, and this is not the best practice, is to cut the umbilical. That is a premature separation of two beings who have become intertwined. So then what happens? We don't really know, do we? You cut the cord, you're bleeding everywhere. Get all this energetic plasma everywhere. You're bleeding out. You've actually depleted yourself even further. What happens if you just cut the baby's umbilical cord? Baby's going to bleed out. Mother's going to bleed out. Everybody going to bleed out. Everybody's going to bleed out. Adrian Arviso says, that's interesting. I wonder why America has practiced that tradition for so long. Might sound a bit morbid and conspiracy theory, but I digress. A conspiracy is only a conspiracy until enough people choose to acknowledge it's a truth. So with that said, if you look, what are they doing with stem cells? What do they do with the placenta after the mother gives birth? With the amniotic sac? No one really knows. It's alleged that it's incinerated because it's, biological waste. Or it could be sold because stem cell is like the prima substance of our existence. It has the capability of becoming any other cell within your system. There's a lot of applications for that. A lot. Especially when you're looking for a very specific bloodline that contains the biospiritual coding to open stargates. So I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm just sharing thoughts. Is that what happens? I don't know. I don't know. Some of it has been sold to beauty companies, yes, including the foreskin of circumcised newborns. I have seen that. Yes. So, does being born through C-section affect the baby? Absolutely. Absolutely. It affects the baby. Because the baby has to travel through a very confined space. The whole reason for birth is to squeeze, to compress the baby. When you compress the child's torso, much of the fluids, the amniotic fluid within the lungs, because they breathe and swallow amniotic fluid, which is their pee, it gets squeezed out. And so as they're born vaginally, they take that first breath of air. But, let's see. What if you have herpes and you have to have a C-section? Then you have herpes. Then you have a C-section. Herpes is more for vaginal birth because you don't want to get it in the child's mucous membranes. But even with that, I think there's other procedures that are done to minimize transmission to the baby. What are you guys talking about? What's in our food? So all these angel cards, one comes across stating, have a Michael to cut the cord is in. I don't know. You can choose to believe whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you not to believe that. But from what I know about Michael, and I've worked very closely with Mikey, he's not going to cut that cord. He's not going to cut that cord. So let's see. Can the practice of voodoo be healing if you don't really know what kind of spirit has manifested? Why would you take action if you don't know the details? That sounds like a recipe for disaster. I was born C-section because I was premature. I wanted to come in 1999 rather than... Oh my God. You like, I'm a sovereign. I set my own timeline. I was born through C-section. My mom's and I, heart rate dropped way too low and it was an emergency. Same thing with my younger sister. Hey, you know what, you guys? Sometimes C-section is absolutely necessary. Sometimes it's absolutely necessary. I was born C-section. That doesn't make you any less. But C-section, absolutely, that's a very traumatic way to be born. For a child that leaves an imprint. Absolutely leaves an imprint. But sometimes these are the types of details that we agree to before coming into this vessel, because it creates the types of events that we need in order to grow into who we are. I mean, my C-section was very traumatic. The way I was born premature. On top of that, like my mom and I almost died. So it was a very traumatic one. I nearly perforated her uterus with my heel because I'm from Michael's lineage. And I was like, I will ram my heel up in this. I'm just kidding. Or maybe not. I don't know. So you're right about the lungs. I was in an incubator for that reason. Yeah, and also, when you're premature, depending on how premature, the lungs actually they ripen, they mature in the very last few weeks of gestation. Oh my God, it's 33% at 444. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Let me just take a picture of this. Okay, thank you very much. Put that down. So wait, you were told you need to do Santeria for what? What do you need to do Santeria for? I wouldn't do anything that you don't know what you're doing. I'm so serious. Unless you know what you're doing, don't do it. You're going to make things a hell of a lot worse for yourself. Let's see. 3 weeks later. Yeah, you know what? My birth was so traumatic that they did a full hysterectomy on my mom. I was talking to the her physical therapist about birth like a few weeks ago. We were talking about it in front of my mom, and my mom's like totally talking smack about how I was born premature. And I was like, yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be the last. Ain't nothing coming after me. Break the uterus. I am a problem child. And my mom's like, she broke my uterus. Yeah, I sure did. And no one coming after me. My mom's physical therapist is like, you two are so bad. I was just messing around. I'm messing around. So let's see. Back to the cords. Yeah, you're gonna have to make sure that you remove the whole root ball, and you got to make sure you're not just buying into stuff that you don't understand. Is it true Saint Germain helps with the birth of a baby and passes them to the mother? I've never heard that personally, but apparently Saint Germain is one of my primary guides. I haven't allowed him to speak to me yet. But I have seen him, and I'm just like, no, bro, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to conversate. You gotta wait a little bit longer. Mind you, he's been waiting quite a few lifetimes because I locked out all my guides lifetimes ago. I'm not yet ready. But I know Michael is very much a guardian of children, and Michael and Saint Germain work very closely together, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was true. I absolutely wouldn't be surprised. Saja says, I heard that the way you give birth, like laying down, is totally wrong, and you're actually supposed to squat and give birth that way. Yeah, every single common practice in the United States for birth is absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. You're working against gravity. I mean, have you tried taking a dump laying down? Is that easy? Putting your legs all the way back, trying to take a dump like that? Like, y'all are so crazy. Yeah, if you squat, you're bearing down. You are putting pressure and using the force of gravity to help bring the baby down further. You can just, wiggle around, get that baby to shimmy on down the birth canal. When you're laying in bed, you're kind of just, this baby got me messed up. That's what's happening. I've given birth 4 times. Completely unmedicated. I think I know what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, squatting giving birth is like, it's the bee's knees. Yeah, no, seriously. Pretty much. And then like, oh, they want to rush you. So they give you Pitocin. Pitocin is a synthesized hormone. Pitocin literally almost killed me for my second child. It tore my placenta and I was bleeding out for about an hour. They gave me too much Pitocin. And I hemorrhaged real bad. I was laying in a pool of my blood from my ankles to my hair. My hair got matted in my own blood. And then they had to do an emergency surgical procedure right after I gave natural birth. So all my births after that, I was like, fuck you and your Pitocin. You don't even get to put an IV in me. You come near me with that, I'm going to stab you with that needle in the eye so you can see with clarity what I said in my birth plan. Read the birth plan, no Pitocin. But yeah, no Pitocin. Yeah, they rush you for everything. It's all about the insurance. But I digress again, the cords. It's so important that you begin really analyzing what you're doing, how you're sending energy to other people. Are you asking for permission, or are you just taking it upon yourself to send things without asking first? I find it so offensive when people just volunteer to pray for me, not because I'm satanic or Luciferian, but because of the fact, like, no one asked you to send any kind of energy my way. No one. I didn't give you permission to do that. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Yeah. See, my labors are pretty long, and I still don't do pain meds. Hello, Gary. Yeah, Jessica, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. You know, my brother's baby, his baby mama was told by the doctor her hips are too narrow and there's no way she's going to give natural birth. This is our first child. And my brother knew, like, what I'm into, like natural living, very, very natural living, and that I'd given birth and that I'm very medically inclined. And he called me and told me. And I said to my brother, you know as well as I know, because he's into sports recovery, the hip bones are not fused. That's absolute bullshit. You know as well as I know, the hips can open unless the baby is in distress. Ask the doctor, is the baby in distress? If not, you are not cutting my baby mama open. And so they got into a huge argument with the doctor, and they got sent home. They got sent home. She was in labor. Her labor stalled, and they got sent home. And I was talking to her about it. I was like, no, girl. No, the hip bones aren't fused. That's the whole point of the hip bones being the way they are. They're three pieces. You got the iliac crest attached to the sacrum, and it's supposed to open. Yeah, that shit swings open for the baby. I mean, if you're going to be laying down, of course, it's not going to swing as open. But if you pop yourself up, go in a squat position, that positions your hips to spread open. And she was just like still nervous and stuff. And the next day she went into labor again, and she got another doctor, because guess what? The doctor who was saying she could never give birth naturally had to go on a trip that next day and wanted to get out of the hospital. Okay. So she labors with another doctor who's aware of the drama that happened the day before. I mean, homegirl gave birth naturally. Didn't even tear. And I told my brother, I was like, she never going to give birth to that baby, huh? There was absolutely no reason, no medical reason for that C-section. That doctor didn't want to wait. I'm just saying. Yeah, hips are like butterflies spreading their wings. Absolutely. Absolutely. So how can you detect if someone is remote viewing you? That is a good question. Shiman Renee, I'm actually going to be teaching a course on negating remote viewing. And so that's definitely going to be discussed in that course. If you guys are interested in learning about remote viewing and stopping the creepers from remote viewing you in your life, consider joining me. You can find that on my website, meevolving.com. Yeah, no, for my last birth, um, the doctor was a man. I don't have anything against men, but this one in particular, I was like, don't make me use my claws on you. He said that he was going to give me 30 minutes because my labor stalled. He was going to give me 30 minutes. My water broke at like 3 a.m. And by 7 a.m., I was stuck at 4 centimeters. And he said I had 30 minutes. And if I didn't progress, he was going to give me Pitocin because that's his hospital. He's a doctor. And so I said, I fucking pay your paycheck. You do what I say. You work for me. No Pitocin. And I knew, yes, my water is broken, but we are not at risk for infection for at least 24 hours after that membrane ruptures. Don't give me that bullshit. It's only been a couple hours. I have at least 24 hours before I'm at risk for infection. You are not rushing me. And so I tried to give birth without him there. I tried to. I told the nurses that I believed in them. That I believed in them and that all I needed was for one of them to go between my legs and catch the baby. We don't need him there. They're fully trained. They're fully trained. They're okay. So let's see. No, not all doctors are bad. Some are actually very amazing. You just have to do your research and find one that meshes with your beliefs really well. Yeah, a lot don't like to listen to the patient. They like to believe that they have gone through all that schooling and know everything. And that's good and everything. You know all the facts, but I know this body that I've been with for 40 years. So if you could kindly just listen, that would be good. So back to the courts. Some of the things that you can do if you know you have a cord is to isolate the root ball. You have to make sure that you don't allow it to get any bigger, that you don't give it any more energy. You have to isolate it. Some of the other things is to go ahead and remove the root ball altogether, not leaving anything behind, because root balls are actually like weeds. Okay, if you leave a portion of the roots of the weeds behind, it definitely grows back. There's a spear that comes out of your chest. I've never seen Donnie Darko. What about the spear that comes out your chest? What's it supposed to do? Oh, yay, Bobby, you signed up for the classes. Awesome. So how do you know if you have a cord? Sometimes you can feel it pulsating. Sometimes you can feel like a pressure in the area. Oftentimes it's used to drain energy. And so you feel very fatigued and just moody, things like that. Where is the cord that attaches to people? The location of the cord attachment itself always varies. It depends on what it's being used for. It's like the path you follow during your life. It changes based on your desires and intentions. Oh, that's interesting. That's definitely interesting. Very curious about that. I think I'm going to look that up more. You said Donnie Darko? There we go. No, I don't want to erase anything. I want to write. No. Donnie Darko Here. All right. Your cord can pull you to different places and dimensions. I'm definitely going to look into that. I think what you're calling the spear or the cord is what I often refer to as the strings. These strings, they lead to other events. So depending on which string you select, it alters the potentiality of each event. So let's see. Does the cord energy pulse and increase when you are in direct contact with the person you're corded into? It can. It definitely can. If the person is actively accessing your energy, your space, and might not be conscious of this. They might not be cognitive aware that this is happening. They might be being used as a Trojan to access you. On phone calls, one gets drained of energy. I need to remember. Yeah, use the exercises in Kokoro Simi. Definitely utilize them, and that will help you with that type of circumstance. That's what it's designed to do. Okay. So with the cords, you have to make sure that you're cognitive of how you feel when you're around specific individuals. This doesn't mean make up. This doesn't mean create a circumstance. Just observe. Are you feeling anything? You're not supposed to like, okay, I'm talking to so-and-so right now. Okay, am I feeling a pulsing in my belly yet? Not yet. Wait. Am I feeling a pulsing? Hold on 1 minute. Like you're trying to manifest that. JoJo ain't feeding off of you. If you have to do it like that, JoJo ain't feeding from you. So is the world multiverse like a spider web of spiritual cords and strings? In some ways, it's like a spider web, but it's more accurately like a tapestry. The strings are so tightly interwoven that it would be more like a tapestry than a spider web. Yeah, some people do it unintentionally. They're not trying to do anything to you. Sometimes the issue might be more of internal, meaning you haven't set healthy boundaries. And so it's like you're offering your energy to anyone that passes by. And some people will definitely need it and pull it, and they don't know that they're doing that. So yeah. It can definitely not be intentional. So, let's see. Even going to a supermarket gets too overwhelming with all the stuff and people and automatic movements. Yeah, that's because you're a very sensitive empath, though. You know, if you're that level of empath, it definitely gets very overwhelming. Even if you avert your eyes, like you don't look at others, you can still very much feel their energy. You can feel their intentions. You can feel the struggles that they're having in life in general, or like acute circumstance where like they just experienced something really traumatic. It gets very, very difficult. Until I began consciously regulating the amount of energy filtering through my field, I would get overwhelmed. I suffered from panic attacks, like legit panic attacks. I remember one time I was at the dollar store. I know exactly where I was. Dollar store in Florin, California. I went in there to get some Easter eggs, and I was nearly in tears as I was paying, and I kind of kept my eyes down. And I remember thinking in my head, like, oh my God, my shift is almost off. My shift's almost off. And I remember feeling that I was very, very afraid to go home because I didn't want to get my ass beat. And I was just like, what the hell is this? And I was about to have a panic attack. My husband doesn't put hands on me ever. So I didn't know what was going on. And the cashier hands me my card. And she happened to look at me straight in the face as we locked eyes when she was giving me back my debit card, and she had a black eye, a severe black eye. And I was just like, oh my God, it's her. So I didn't go out in public for a while after that. It was too much for me. It was definitely too much for me. Shimin says, do you think twin flames are courted as well? Twin flames can be courted, but if you're talking in terms of twin ray, so you have multiple twin flames. You can have multiple. It's not just one, contrary to what people think. It's not just one, but you only get one twin ray. The twin ray would be like an identical twin. If we're talking again, analogy with birth, an identical twin shares the same amniotic sac, whereas fraternal twins, which would be the equivalent of a twin flame, they have different amniotic sacs. So a twin ray, you only have one, and you share the same amniotic sac, meaning the same inner shield. You're not dealing with cords at that point. You two are basically the same. So, yeah. So, you met a twin flame in middle school? My twin ray has jumped vessels a few times. He's jumped vessels a few times. I know I met him when I was 18, and then I met him again a couple years ago. But he always has the same eyes, same exact eyes. Yeah, so we all have a twin ray. Not all of our twin rays are here in vessel, though. Okay. Oh, Mamie says, I've got better at regulating, but I still can barely handle malls and airports. Me too. To be honest, me too. I can't. It's just too much for me. I get panic attacks when I'm in big cities. I can't be around busy traffic roads, tall buildings, black crowds walking on streets. Yeah. Yeah, me neither. A violet ray is someone who comes from that ray of creation. It's a specific band of frequency that emits as purple. Yeah. You sure it wasn't a dark twin? It could have been a dark twin if it was a crazy year. Dark twins, their presence has a tendency to make things very crazy. Like, what's that? Murphy's Law? Dark twins, they emit Murphy frequency. I'm just saying, dark twins emit Murphy frequency. You guys have any questions about chords? A dark twin, a false twin. It's like the shadow self of a twin. Aww. It was crazy emotionally between the two of you. Well, maybe. I found one of my dark twins. It was crazy emotionally for us too. I mean, like, we totally had each other's backs, like brother and sister. We were besties. And then when we had a falling out, it was insane. It was insane. Like, I really flashed on him bad. But he was being a jerk. So I was just like, all right. I'm going to show you my other side. And he was like, whoa. What the fuck? And I said, that's what you get. So let's see. Can the cord also be related to separating yourself from your parents? I read that somewhere, to cut the genetic ties. I'm not sure I understand what you mean. I don't know how you would cut genetic ties. Maybe my understanding is just very limited right now, because I could never cut genetic ties with my biological family. Like, we will always have the same genetics. We will always share that. That's what this vessel is made of, the same genetics. Mm. Oh, nice. That's an awesome concert experience. To get like a practice twin, or is that a dark twin? A practice twin. Sometimes the dark twin is used as practice. So not long before I met my twin ray, as it currently stands, meaning that twin ray energy might jump vessels again. That was when I became acquainted with my dark twin. It was definitely around that time. And it was around that time as well that I was just like, you are just this too much. I don't even want to be your friend no more. And it definitely was around that time. So I guess, yeah, it could be like a practice. What's the best way to dissolve the root ball and get rid of the cord? Dig it out. You just have to dig it out. If you don't know how or feel comfortable with digging it out, I guess you could always have a session, but you have to just get out the root ball. You have to dig it out. I don't know how else to explain it right now. You know what? I do have a video here on my channel, my YouTube channel, and it has it's about the twin cord and removing it. Because I get vindictive when it comes to twins. They be too much. Don't be doing that shit with me. Don't be playing with me. I don't play very nice. DT is using you for target practice. Oh, hell no. No, yeah, don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't be playing with me. We're not going to play this game. Find someone else to play with. Definitely do not yank it out. Don't yank it out. That's going to create a huge mess. This would be from the solar plexus. I missed the earlier part of your session today. No, it varies for each person. It really depends on where the cord was attached. And that's unique for each individual. Wait, what happened? Do a chat about twin rays and the whole jumping vessel thing. Girl, I suspect my twin watches some of the videos. I'd really like to keep the peace. The energy has quieted down, and I think that if he did watch some of the videos and heard some of the shit that I say, that might restart some shit, which that's fine. You want to fuck around again? You want to fight some more? Okay. We can do that. No, leave me alone. Okay. So let's see. Is it possible to isolate and kick the root ball out, like push it out of you? It is possible. It's definitely possible. You can try it. You can definitely try it. Deb said, that's a no. I mean, I could. You know what? Fuck him. We talk about it. We talk about it. I ain't got nothing to hide. You know, if you didn't want other people knowing about the behaviors, and you shouldn't behave that way. That's my logic. Everything I do behind closed doors is not anything that I would be ashamed to admit publicly. Know what I'm saying? So what do you do when one cannot stand the 3D vessel for the twin ray? Not much. You don't do much. What would you do? I mean, what could you do? Robin Coates says, so just dissolve it. Why not just yank it? Have you ever tried to yank the umbilical cord out of a mother? Is there a reason why she has to birth the afterbirth? Why don't the doctors just yank it out? And you'll get your answer. You definitely don't want to just yank it out. You're going to create so much more circumstance than is worth doing it. If you don't want to put the work into doing it, if you want it quick, like bam, bam, it's done, then I would suggest just having a session, because what ends up happening, you yank it out and you create a tremendous amount of chakra damage, energetic trauma to your luminous bodies. And then not only do you still have fragments of that cording still within your system, regrowing another cord, you now also compound that with oftentimes the fracturing of energetic bodies. So, I mean, you can try it. I wouldn't. Let's see what you do. I didn't know twin rays could jump vessels. Neither did I until they both had the same eyes and the same energy. The same exact eyes and energy. And I was like, oh, your eyes. I've seen those eyes before. You have the same exact eyes as someone I know in the past. Same exact type of energy. And I just like, I didn't fall for that at 18. I'm not falling for it at 38. Let's see. Yeah, you're doing good though, Rebecca. You're doing good, rebuilding yourself. From one of Ashana's videos, she says, cell that is the donated quantum from the egg and the sperm of your parents that was not your own spirit body encryption. That has to be released before you can be freed from the space-time location in which those two things came together. How could they jump vessels? Well, maybe my twin is different. Michael laughed at that one too. My twin is different. Mine jumps vessels. So for some reason, I'm having a hard time taking in the information that you just wrote, Jennifer. I remember that video too. I mean, I'm having a really hard time. I keep reading it and rereading it. And I'm wondering if it's because that's something that I'm still on some level attempting to process for my own personal journey. Could you ask me your question one more time? Is it, yeah.
Need your help.
With,
Bring it back to
okay. Is it, is it more a question of how to release their own contractual agreement? We come into birth with several seals and distortions, and there's one that relates to your parents. So I was wondering if there's a cord related to that with your parents. I have to be honest, for some reason, like my mind goes blank. I literally have read what you wrote at least 4 or 5 times. And every single time I read it, it's like I didn't read it. And I know that video that you're referencing. This is really odd. I'm wondering if it's something that I've been refusing to process on a conscious level. Hey guys, hold on. I gotta get going. I gotta go. I gotta go take care of some stuff with my mama. Let's see. It could just be soul recognition, Lisa. Jennifer, if anything comes up later on, I'll definitely message you. My brain keeps going blank, which is weird. That doesn't happen very often. But for this, for some reason, it's like as soon as the information comes in, it goes blank. Well, now I'm all frustrated because I want to know. I want to know too. But yeah, definitely I'll see if I can process it later on with less pressure on myself. I'm going to have to rewatch this. Read it a few times. All right. Bye guys. Thank you for joining me. If you resonated with this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Turn the notification bell on because the rest of this week, actually as much as possible, I'm going to be doing free live readings, and I have such a hard time posting on Facebook that it's probably, I'm just going to go live from here. You want to be able to get notifications when I go live because I do live readings and live energy work. So definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Bye, guys.